Good afternoon, class. Have you ever watched old black and white videos about the cowboys chasing the Indians and the Indians being the bad guys running around scalping everybody? Well, today I'm going to do my persuasive speech on the early Native Americans, um, whether they were scavengers or whether they were savages. According to Wikipedia.com, Native Americans were viewed by many as unimportant savages throughout the early United States. Today, many laws are in place in the hopes that the Native Americans will somewhat prosper. And what are we going to do to see this to succeed? I chose to speak on this topic because of my wife's Native background. Um, and the purpose of my speech is so that everyone would know that Native Americans played a big part in creating the lands that we inhabit today. Although they were thought to be savages, the natives have helped us in many ways. They fought in many wars with us together and surrendered their land to what they called the paleface. That doesn't sound like savages to me. Savages be running around scalping everybody and taking their hair. First, I would like to discuss a few examples on how the Native Americans have helped us, and by saying us, people in general. According to History.com, many Native Americans left their mark on history, such as Squanto, by helping the settlers of Plymouth succeed in the 1600s. Still doesn't sound like a savage to me, but you decide. They also taught them how to survive off the land, grow their own crops, and hunt as well. Many Native Americans were nomadic. Uh, they were nomadic people. They hunted for their food and used the hides to make things such as clothing and shoes. Um, and they used the bones for making tools or jewelry. Tools and weapons sometimes uh, were, like I said, made from the bones of the animals they killed. Having said all this, no one really took account of all the hardships that the Native Americans had to go through. Um, the women and children were the ones who actually made the clothing and the footwear uh, for the tribes. So it really doesn't sound like savages to me. It sounds more on the lines of scavengers. Uh, if you take a step back and really take a good look, you will come to see that all Native Americans were uh, the horrid savages, weren't the horrid savages they were made out to be. Without them, we might not have some of the knowledge that we have today about how to live off the land. Again, I chose this topic because of my wife's Native background, and I feel that I'm qualified to talk about this due to all the research I have done. Um, if you knew how the Native Americans had to survive and what they endured and having to constantly fight for what they thought was right, you would see that they were actually somewhat scavengers than savages. In conclusion, you will find that the Native Americans have actually taught us a lot about how to survive in hard times. I explained to you uh, how they have overcome hardships, helped out the white man, and taught us how to live off the land. Like I said, my conclusion would be is I really don't think that you could consider them savages. The research that I have done shows that the black and white movies you see with them running around with the cowboys, the good guys, and them Indians as the bad guys running around scalping everybody is not true. So if I lean more towards scavengers. But like I said, you choose. Goodbye.